Okay, next month I will be spending some time in the UK, specifically in Sheffield, England, and when I get there, they will crown a new king. So King Charles will go through his official coronation sometime in early May, I believe. And so I think it's important to discuss perhaps, his diet, because when we have people that have significant influence over the rest of society, and the King of England certainly does that, whether through corporate influence or, just the fact by being a member of the royalty and having a tremendous connections, his ability to think, his emotions, and so on and so forth, his cognitive ability are impacted by diet. And so we talk about how old a president of the United States should be, and if they get too old, if they become cognitively impaired, is that actually a good idea? So let's talk about what King Charles, at least reportedly, is known to eat. He's been seen to eat quite a bit of fruits and honey, which on the surface seems okay, but again, at up to a certain point, all that excessive fructose, and I don't know if he's eating it excessively, but what happens when you do? Well, metabolic damage can certainly occur. Obesity can occur. Now, he's not obese, or, he's, I wouldn't say he's super fit, but he doesn't appear, at least on the outset, morbidly obese. He may be skinny fat, which can be just as bad in many cases. And so fructose in high doses can lead to atherosclerotic disease. Certainly it can be related to cavities in the mouth, and it can cause inflammation throughout the body, problems with neurotransmitters, leading to perhaps things like Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's, hyperactivity, anxiety, mania, and other mental health problems, and ultimately can lead to increases in all-cause mortality. Now, he's known to have quite a significant cereal habit. Now, many people in the UK will start their day off with eggs and sausage or something like that, where he chooses to eat mostly a MUESLI type substance, which is basically a soggy, wet mush of oats, nuts, more dried fruits, and some other whole grains that are often kept overnight in the fridge. And, these things can have problems for the gut. They can be high in lectins, phytates, oxalates. Dried fruit often has sulfites and highly concentrated sources of fructose. These can all lead to increased gut permeability, IBS, celiac disease, hypothyroidism, autoimmune disease, low testosterone, and increased estrogen in men, and on and on and on. If you've seen, we've seen some photos of his hands. He's got this really weirdly appeared, swollen, chronically red appearing hands, and that may have to do something with his nutrition in some way. And so he now goes plant-based apparently 2 days per week to sort of virtue signal that he's saving the planet somehow. Not to mention the fact he clearly flies around the world in private jets continuously and probably emits more greenhouse gases than, hundreds of us combined. But anyway, he's going plant-based 2 days a week to supposedly signal that he cares about the environment. And now, again, on those days, he's lacking vitamin D, B12, carnitine, some of the omega-3 fats, carnosine, creatine, and all the things that we get with meat, and those things can have a negative effect on our mental health and our physical health. Other thing, when we're talking about the subject of saving the environment, and if we're going to talk about cutting back on greenhouse gas emissions, it's interesting to note that there's a study out there shows that people suffering from obesity are also likely to emit 20% higher greenhouse gases than people that don't have obesity. So if we really wanted to tackle greenhouse gas emissions, perhaps we would recommend foods that would cut back on obesity, and certainly whole unprocessed meats, avoiding processed foods, certainly will do that. Okay, so there are some good things. Charles apparently likes to eat eggs, and so he has eggs fairly frequently. Apparently he has at least one boiled egg at the beginning of every meal, even on the days that he doesn't eat meat. So on the quote-unquote plant-based days, he's still eating an egg. So he's getting a decent amount of choline and collagen, some of those B vitamins that he's otherwise missing. Again, I think it is important to have leaders that have good physical health, and certainly good mental health, and I think the diet impacts it. So I think it's quite important that our leaders eat well, and hopefully they know what to eat. Do you care what your leaders eat? Does it matter to you? Do you think it makes a difference? And what are your thoughts on this new coronation, or do you even care? A lot of us in America don't really give too much of a concern about the royal family and their affairs, but indirectly it affects all of us because he does have an international impact. So I think it's important a person like that has a healthy diet. And in fact, I think all of us should have a healthy diet, and I think we would be in a place where we had much better society, less anger and violence and conflict if we all just ate in a more healthful way.